Rishi, welcome to the show and good afternoon to you. Thanks for taking the time out. Let's
Good
start with
afternoon.
your own assessment of the quarter gone by. It does seem like, as far as the top line is concerned, we're looking at good growth coming in. How are you looking at operations? How has your first half of this financial year been? And what can we expect going forward? More or less the same?
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting me on NDTV. See, what I look at in the second quarter of this year, we revenue grew by 27%, 455.4 crores, and our PBT grew by about 33% to 25.9 crores. Vis-a-vis for the full half, the H1 of this year, we grew at about 26%, and our PBT grew at about 31%. What is important to note is that this is the first quarter where we started to pay taxes. And post the tax, the PAT number comes to 21.1 crores. So the PAT number growth sequentially has dropped because of the tax payment which has come in quarter two vis-a-vis quarter one. Otherwise, our PBT number has grown by 33%. We expect that the momentum which is there for the first half will continue in the second half. We had actually given a guidance of 25%, which was 5% over our standard 20% guidance. We expect that we'll be able to perform better than 25% for the full year also.
Rishi, since you mentioned about the tax component, wanted to understand largely these are the levels at which we can expect Fino Payments to come through when it comes to your tax outgoes. And I understand that it'll also depend from quarter to quarter in terms of volatility. But if you could give us a rough picture on an annual basis, what can we expect as far as that taxation is concerned?
So taxation this year, looking at our past losses over there, this incidence was about 15% or so. But in quarter three, quarter four, we will have to pay full tax as per the calculation. So the tax outgo in quarter three, quarter four will be higher. But because our growth is there, we continue to expect growth in H2 also. The tax amount, the total PBT will be higher, and that's what we need to look at, because tax is something which we were not paying earlier. Now we are started to pay, and because of which the PAT number will change, but the PBT number we expect that will continue to grow.
Rishi, now, let's talk about business in general. From what we understand, you're working with about 18.5 lakh merchants across India. Wanted a better understanding of what your plans are. Are you looking at continuing to add the number of merchants, first thing? And secondly, are there any other areas that you're looking to exploit that could potentially add to your revenue going forward?
So from a Fino perspective, if I look at our 7 years journey, in the first 5 years, we were largely focusing on the physical network, the cash business which was there. In the last 18 months or so, we started to pedal on the digital and the payments business. Now with 107,000 crores of transaction throughput in quarter two, roughly 44% of that is coming through the UPI digital network. We expect that the momentum will continue. We add about 1.5 to 2 lakh merchants every year, and that momentum we expect to continue in the second half also. But on the back of growth in our CASA business, CASA has grown by 41%, both renewal income has grown by 51%, and sequentially also CASA has grown by 14% in quarter two versus quarter one. Our CMS has grown by roughly around, if I look at, grown by about 49%. If I look at on the throughput basis, we are nearly 22,000 crores of throughput. That business will continue to grow, both CASA as well as CMS. On top of it, the digital business, which is your payments business, contributing to 17%. This was contributing about 15% in the last quarter. In quarter two, it was contributing to 17%, which vis-a-vis 5% in FY24. So we expect that digital contribution business to be somewhere around 18 to 20% for the H2 levels as we go forward. On top of it, we expect the CASA CMS business to also grow. So from a total overall business point of view, both the growth in terms of our old businesses on cash as well as CASA CMS, we expect to grow in digital. The only business where we are expecting some challenge is the transaction business. The transaction business has not grown. In fact, it has degrown partly in the last 1 or 2 years. That's largely because of the change in the consumer behavior from cash to UPI. And also a lot of our customers which were using our platform for offers business now come to our platform to do honors. But the biggest takeaway for this quarter is the fact that largely all our businesses, except for transaction business, every business has grown. The company has started to pay tax, and that is where the PBT growth, which has been 33%, has been partly offset at the PAT level because of the tax outgo.
Right. Rishi, you mentioned that things have changed over the last 5 years clearly, and you guys are also pivoting towards digital as against a physical network that you have built over the last 5 years. Well, going forward, over the next few years, are you anticipating, what sort of changes are you anticipating in the way with which clients and customers make payments? And accordingly, how are you adapting to that? And what sort of, minor tweaks that you're already starting to carry out at the moment?
So, that's a good question. So, what is happening is that the physical movement of cash is coming down for us in our everyday's life. So, the country is becoming more digital. Our consumers are also becoming more digital. Roughly 44% of our transactions were happening on the digital side. 44 lakh customers are now transacting on a digital platform out of 1.26 crores. We are seeing a lot of interest in coming up with the payment solutions for the B2B category. Fino invested, a lot of investments have happened in the last 24 months on the digital and the technology side. We are revamping our entire technology stack from Hollow the Core to moving from FIS to Finacle, and that should get over in the next 6 months. So clearly, what we believe in the next 24 months or so, we expect that the technology digital business will take more center stage, and the digital growth will be substantially higher than the physical growth, which we are seeing, especially on the cash business. We continue to acquire customers at the rate of 8 to 8.5 lakh per quarter. That we continue to expect. We expect the CMS business also to keep on growing, but we expect that the cash business will come down, which will be more than offset by the digital business in the next 12 to 24 months. We are also building up, as I said, a new technology digital stack, and we plan to bring new payment products and digital products over the next 3 to 6 months. And that will give us a more impetus in terms of growth on the revenue and broaden our company from physical to digital and bring more customers onto our platform, more clients as well.
Rishi, a final question then. You already mentioned about your expectation with respect to growth for the second half of this financial year. What can we expect in terms of operating margins? More or less the same?
Yeah, margins we have said it will be in the range of 31 to 32%. If I look at the net revenue margin, we expect that it to be in the same range. This quarter, the margin went up by 40 bips, as you would see. We expect that the margin will continue to be in the same range, but we expect the growth to be more than 25%, like we had mentioned in our earlier call as well. So H2 we are looking forward. H2 normally is also better for us than H1 because H1 has the monsoon and the effect of such. We are already seeing good volume, good traction in the festival season, so much so far in the month of October. We expect it to continue, and the H2 should definitely be more than H1.